This video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Previously on, will it make it to Moab? With the first 1,000-mile adventure complete, the story continues. Welcome to the start of the adventure. You join me at the base of a mountain range just south of Salt Lake, Utah. And which mountain range? Well, it's the mountain range that defeated me with all the snow last time when I only had 2-wheel drive, 8 horsepower and tiny wheels. But now I've got 4-wheel drive, diff lock, 32 horsepower and much bigger wheels, and so hopefully me and Willie can do it. I'm at about 6,500 feet now. The mountain range goes up to about 11,000 feet, so could be quite a lot of snow up there. But the plan is to get up there, drive the 100 miles right along the top of the ridge, and then when that finishes, I then drop down into the valley, into the desert, and then from there, head to Area 51. And that's the plan, and I can't see anything going wrong with any of this. So, yeah, time to jump in, Willie, and let's go. Hang on. There's no way we're starting this adventure after I've spent weeks turning Willie the mini Jeep from this into this without an epic 80s super awesome build montage time. Contenders ready, featuring Ed March. This 2-year-old Honda quad bike he just spent $6,000 on to immediately cut in half. And Willie the Mini Jeep versus Ed's latest stupid idea, where he drives 650 miles to Area 51 to try and find aliens to ask them if they're responsible for the way that he is. Fight! First port of call is to make sure this virtually brand new donor vehicle is in good working order, so I've got to rag the absolute granny out of it off-road. Purely for science, of course. I also wanted to find the point that it starts to tip over, which isn't nerve-wracking at all, because I'm a man. Mummy. Okay, they're gonna look pathetic? Probably. So stuff like that is a bit much, but I might have an idea for that. I conquered this rock section with a small wheelie, lost the leg to my tripod, conquered this section with a 30-mile-an-hour wheelie, and then I would have set up one last tripod shot for this testing montage before heading home to take the quad apart. I've lost a leg of my tripod, somewhere up there. Brilliant. Yeah! Boner achieved! Right, well, don't do that again. Onwards. So now I could take the quad apart and put its 4-wheel drive pieces into Willie. But it was at this point I realised a little problem. It wasn't little. It was rather large. Oh dear. I think it's a bit big. Now from my experience, having a Willie that's too big and unwieldy can present a problem. So it's time to see if deep down the donor vehicle is the same size as the mini Jeep. And as luck would have it, I can continue my childish voiceover by pointing out that this is where the top of the quad suspension comes to on my thigh, and both vehicles are compatible because, good news ladies, Willie comes to here. Excellent. So now I know both vehicles are vaguely the same size, it's time to make a plan. Which went well. So, I have unbolted everything off of Willie, leaving him as just a rolling chassis. Well, apparently I had a stroke, so we'll do this in voiceover. The general plan here is to get rid of the top 3/4 of the Honda, leaving just the drivetrain and bottom of the chassis to hold it in place. Then I'm going to take the top 3/4 of the mini Jeep and then graft the two parts together. To get an idea of how the Jeep body would fit the Honda wheelbase, I made a cardboard version of the body, which I seemed very proud of, but initially it didn't tell me much, because as much as I'd like a monster truck, the body did need to sit a lot lower. To investigate this, I turned it into nighttime, dressed up like a World War II tank mechanic, and then cut out bits of the cardboard body to show me what parts of Honda were in the way. I then enabled daytime and started cutting off those pieces of Honda. And safety warning, these frames are in tension, so when you cut through it, it can grab the angle grinder disc and fire it into you. You should only do this if you're super tough and manly, like we established earlier on.
Mummy!
With the frame cut down,
Yeah!
the seating position passed the childish boy test, but it revealed a big issue. The engine's air inlet was right in between my legs.
One potential problem.
Still, when life gives you lemons.
I think I'm going to get a 32 horsepower blowy.
So with all the important things sorted, it was time for the next stage.
Good morning!
Look who it is! Seen the chaos on the trailer?
Oh yeah!
That's right, I was back working with Nate that helped me with the engine change and amphibious conversion in the previous adventure. So we unloaded the trailer, and I tried to get Nate up to speed on how I thought this was going to work. What do you want to know? I think Nate wants to know why he's agreed to do this.
I don't know. What do you want to do first?
Poor Nate. To help show him my plan, we put the cardboard body on the quad chassis with the suspension fully compressed. This means that the wheels shouldn't hit the bodywork if I hit any massive bumps. And so, yeah, I had the entire thing planned out.
That, if you weld it, we are going to have the...
Is it a little bit in front of these points?
Maybe.
Okay, I didn't have everything planned out, but I did have an idea to solve the engine's air inlet being jammed up right against my crotch.
I was going to print like a fleshlight attachment as the air intake.
Okay, maybe not. Moving on, we removed the rear axle from the mini Jeep, and then Nate, not at all like a maniac, used a sawzall to cut the engine out.
Ta-da! So the plan now is to put that, which is Willy, on that, which is Honda. It's going to be really easy and it's just going to fit perfectly.
And it was really easy.
Easy peasy. Yeah, cool, done.
Now, there was another potential problem here with cutting away so much of the mini Jeep, and earlier on I had spotted it.
I'd like to use as much as possible to stop all of the internet people going, no, you didn't modify your mini Jeep, you actually modified a Honda quad bike and put the Jeep body on it.
Now, I do get where you're coming from, and if I'm not careful that could be the case. But luckily, there's an engineering equation that I can follow to make sure I'm not just putting a mini Jeep body on a Honda quad bike. You see, if we teleport to the future, we can see that this is the amount of Honda quad bike left over after the build. And this is the amount of mini Jeep left over. And if we weigh the two amounts and then divide them by the combined weight of both vehicles, we can see that I don't fucking care. So with that cleared up, we carried on cutting off more and more Honda to make it as small as possible, and until the mini Jeep parts wouldn't hit anything. And then I realised this build really needs to hurry up, so I faded up the montage music again and made lots of you hate the people that leave YouTube comments on my channel saying they like my awful singing. The chassis still wouldn't quite fit, so they cut off more Honda. After 800 attempts it finally fit, which made them wonder, why did nothing ever fit? Well, there's always something that pinches, because I'm a man and I'm good at measurements. For example, this is 8 inches. I reused the brake assembly from the mini Jeep, so you wouldn't moan at me that this wasn't the original vehicle. Still, same for the Jeep steering wheel and the steering column, and it is my solemn promise to try and make things rhyme. Gollum. Next up was taking the four-wheel drive and diff-lock handlebar switches and converting them to toggle switches on the dashboard. Now you'd think this would be super simple as it's only 2 switches, but this is a modern quad bike, which means it's stupidly overcomplicated. It only needed 4 wires, but they used 13 because someone at Honda took a lot of drugs. And I'm sorry for ranting, I just want to show you how much work is in this build. And if I can be serious for a second, there was so much more work involved in this that didn't make it into the video. Nate was an absolute star for helping me out with this. We make an awesome team, and this project would have never got finished without both of us working as hard as we could. Eventually we got the bodysuit fit after I did more helping and then some cutting out the wheel arches to fit big tyres in. With the arches done, the next thing to come was the bumper and winch in case things went wrong. The next thing to build was the gear shift linkage, which took lots of thinkage, but we later cut some parts. Peter Dinklage. I then welded on a plate for the battery. Nate made a metal floor the right height for my anatomy. He then cut this out and bent it at chest height and then attached the air filter, which I guess is a more sensible idea than my fleshlight. Okay, so all of the heavy engineering has been done on the four-wheel drive conversion, and so in theory it should now be able to drive. But I've taken up far too much of Nate's time. This was supposed to be very quick and it's run on a long time. I think we're about day 9 of me being here and sleeping in the back of my car and smelling pretty bad. So I'm going to go back to Moab now and I can do all the electrics and stuff, and then I'm going to come back up here when Nate has forgotten how much of a pain in the ass I am, and then we can carry on and finish the... Oh no, I can't tell you about that. No. Totally ignore that. Instead, focus on me going to Mad Bro Power Sports in Moab, Utah to fit new tyres. I always get my tyres at Mad Bro Power Sports because they're super helpful and really respect me.
It's me! Hooray!
Where have you been?
Where haven't I been? Woof!
Well, there's a cocksucker.
Say hello to YouTube. Anyone that wants to say hi?
I fitted the new tyres and I discovered that they were a lot heavier than the old ones, but they were a lot tougher, so I guess I can put up with that. I then put the wheels back on Willie. Now he did look super cool without any suspension fitted, but he's supposed to be an off-road vehicle, which means back to Mad Bro Power Sports to fit the springs, and dealing with one of my biggest fears, spring compressors.
I didn't die. And hopefully that's the most dangerous part of the entire trip.
With all 4 shocks done, Willie was now at the correct ride height, and I moved on to making some custom length battery cables, which I'd never made before.
I don't know what I'm doing. Let's read the manual. Do not trap penis under handle. Fail.
Turns out it's a lot harder than you think. Squeezing the handle, not my never mind.
Hey! Yeah! Fucking tits! Grr.
One problem that still remained after the build was the S-shaped gear lever hitting the bodywork. But I have a tool that can solve this, a handheld induction heater, which I'm still not sure I should be trusted with. To bend solid steel bar, simply slide it over, hold down the button for 20 seconds, and ta-da!
Yeah! There we are. Needs a bit more paint, but that's a lot better.
Oh, that's cute. Past me thought he'd actually paint it. Then I had to make the seat narrower because it was in the way of the bigger tyres and suspension. This was pretty simple. You just take the seat apart, cut down the frame, make it the new width, and then you move this part, which is called the strap, to the centre to support your ass correctly. Then you take it to your friend Pierre to weld it all together, making sure he welds every part.
We need to put the strap on.
I don't know if that means what you think it does.
Thank you very much, sir. Nice. I'll go home, cut the foam. That'll go like that. And I don't have a sewing machine, so I'm going to use a shitload of Gorilla Tape.
So with the seat fitted, and 1,000 other things that are far too boring to show here, I took Willie out for his first test drive. Off-road he was pretty awesome, and he could now power slide. And on the road he could do 43 miles an hour. Nice. But I once again called into Mad Bro Power Sports because I'd underestimated just how close the plastic bodywork was to the exhaust, and it was looking pretty melty. So, how do you solve the melting plastics problem? Well, you get a piece of galvanised steel, and definitely use every piece of information you learned from your apprenticeship in manufacturing engineering. And okay, I'm no FoxFab Laser and Machining, but actually, turned out pretty good. And then you cram it into place, and bada bing, bada boom, a metal wheel arch that won't melt. Now the wheel arch did have a lot of spring in it, which would make it vibrate loudly like a drum. Luckily, my apprenticeship also taught me about the resonance of metals, so I removed the springiness by... And now the Jeep build is complete. which means we can now travel forwards in time until we're back at the start of this video.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
So without further ado, let's start this adventure. And I couldn't wait. The previous 1,000 miles Willie and I did together were awesome, but I always thought with more power he'd be more fun. And now with 4 times the power, I get to see if I was right. And this is C90 Adventures, which means no faked emotions, staged drama, or even a camera crew. So if you'll join me, it would be my pleasure to bring you along on this 650-mile journey, beginning here with the first time I've taken new and improved Willie on snow. Let's go.
Is it recording? Yes.
Yes.
So 4 times the power and 5 times the suspension. Was it more fun? Oh yes.
Fuck me! Okay, that's awesome. Oh, I don't know how well this is going to go. I think I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Well, I think it's safe to say I was enjoying this much faster version of Willie. And it's also safe to say that the sponsor of this video is SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is a comprehensive home security system that I personally use to protect my precious belongings, like my Honda 90, photo of Jeff Goldblum, or my other belongings less dreamy than Jeff when I'm not home. SimpliSafe is perfect for when I'm on adventures like this one, because if I'm halfway up a mountain with no phone signal and someone tries to break into my house and take Jeff, SimpliSafe's 24/7 professional monitoring has got my back.
Stop. This is SimpliSafe. Police are on their way.
Leave Jeff alone. They've got so many different sensors, from cameras to panic buttons to keypads to video doorbells and more, that if anyone tries to break in any way, SimpliSafe agents are ready to spring into action to keep me or my house safe, promptly assessing the situation, contacting me, and even dispatching first responders to my address if I'm away or unable to respond. And unlike traditional home security systems, I'm not locked into a long-term contract, and their professional monitoring plans start from less than $1 per day. And some of their sensors aren't just for break-ins. For example, their water sensors will also alert me if I have a leak somewhere, and if I'm away, I can give a plumber a temporary PIN code so he can let himself in and fix it. And I love how easy it is to set up. For example, if I want to add this window brake sensor, I just take it out of the box, pull the plastic battery isolator tab, and it pairs instantly.
Glass brake sensor added.
And I just stick it on the window, and boom, it's set up. But if you want, SimpliSafe also offers professional installation. So if you want to protect your home, you can save 20% off your system, and your first month is free when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/YouTube. That's 20% off your system, and your first month is free when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/YouTube. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Back to the video. Well, I think it's safe to say I was enjoying this much faster version of Willie, and the bigger tyres were lovely. Even in 2-wheel drive, we could just float across the top of the snow and make it up hills like this effortlessly. So yeah, I was very pleased with what Nate and I had created, and when the trails split and it was time for me to leave behind all the tyre tracks that signified safety and go it alone, I was excited to see what we could conquer. But these are the mountains of Utah, and as the elevation increased and the snow got deeper, it didn't take long before things stopped going so smoothly.
Uh-oh, we're sinking!
Time to investigate.
Something smells like it's melting.
Which I ignored, and then focused on why I was sinking.
Looking at the snow depth here. See if I can... Oh, tits. Okay, right, well I just... Well, let's jump into this bit. Okay, no. Oh, bollocks. So we're up to there. So, 4-wheel drive, and I just got to hope I don't punch through... Oh, tits. I don't know how well this is going to go. I might jump straight to diff lock.
I tried diff lock, but...
Oh dear. I don't think this is going to go well. Run up. Right, there goes nothing. A little bit nervous now.
This was confusing me, because after spending close to $10,000 on this upgrade, I thought it would handle this effortlessly. What? But luckily I knew the technical term for an engineering project not meeting specification.
A bag of wang.
And in case you're wondering about tyre pressures, I haven't let them right down just yet, because I want to keep something in the bag so that if I get stuck, there's still something else I can try to get free. I'm trying to gradually try different things here as I learn what my limits are. Next test, hit it with a run-up.
And punch it!
And it was at this point I learned my ground clearance wasn't what I thought it was.
Well, that didn't work. Ah, my beached. Well, time to check the map and reevaluate my life choices because this isn't good.
And yes, I was probably a bit overly enthusiastic with the throttle, which caused me to get stuck. But the good news is, it wasn't just the tyre pressure card I hadn't played yet. Now, Willie is stuck, which is a big pain in the ass, and as you remember from the previous series, pushing him is really not fun. And a lot of you suggested that I should put a throttle on the back so that I can push him while applying the throttle. Other people said put a stick on the throttle, but that wasn't really going to work. Could do that. Or, being a maniacal engineer, I could make him radio control. Now, I don't think this is going to work just yet. Okay, so he is stuck, so we're going to try and get him out first. And then hopefully, without the weight of me on him, he should be able to go over the snow and not punch through. So, wish me luck. And I can't take all the credit for radio-controlled Willie. Aaron Hill, Alex Grant and Brian Silverman from Team Seems Reasonable that won the world title for Heavyweight BattleBots 2 years ago are unfortunate enough to know me. And after I signed a waiver saying that my cat can't sue them when I inevitably kill myself with a 32 horsepower radio-controlled car, they agreed to help me out and wrote some custom software for me. Cheers guys, I hope you enjoy this stupidity you helped enable.
So, now we try him on the totally virgin snow. This is cool. This is definitely not going to go wrong.
It did go wrong.
Fuck it. Ah, bollocks. It's more stuck than before. Aww.
Well, the radio control was certainly a lot better and allowed him to mostly float on the snow, but this stuff was awful. So there was still lots of stamping down snow and jamming rocks and sticks under the wheels to try and get him free. But I wasn't going anywhere yet. Time to play the winch card. And luckily the combination of wireless winch and wireless Willie worked. Eventually. Which I rather eloquently described here.
Well, that's a king-size pain in the dick. Oh, this is slow going. We're on top of snow again.
So now Willie was free, it was time to put the winch away and carry on, hoping that with all I'd just learnt, Willie and I could do this uphill snow section.
Right, well here goes nothing. Super gentle, no wheel spin, because if I sink up to the sump guards, I'm screwed. Yes?
Yes.
No.
Pretty quickly I learnt that to keep making progress, I had to repeatedly go backwards and forwards so I could take a run up on the snow that Willie had just compacted under his tyres.
Right, tyre pressures. They're another thing I've got on my side.
And that is the final trick up my sleeve. I hope it works, because if not, I've got nothing else left to try. But overall, my stupid idea of a radio-controlled mini-jeep was actually working, and we were proving to be an excellent team. Sometimes after words of encouragement.
Come on, you little bastard.
But we were making it. Slowly.
Well, this is slow progress. But it is progress. I'm only at 7,000 feet. This is not good. Come on, Willie. Come to Papa. It's kind of cool. Oh, my lips are too dry. I can't whistle. Right. Put a whistle in post. Come on, boy. Come on. Come on, boy. Walkies.
But all in all, this was working out pretty well. Okay, it took a standard dose of my inability to actually give up on something and instead keep pushing on blindly into the unknown, but we were a well-oiled machine. Very professional.
Smooth.
See, I'm basically a ninja, and everything was going well, so Willie and I carried on into the distance as the sun set, until the inevitable happened again. Oh dear. And as the sun had gone down and Willie was stuck, it was time to set up camp. And getting stuck here in the dark would have been quite demoralising, but luckily, 45 minutes earlier, I had done a thing.
Oh yeah.
I had done a cooking.
Fuck!
Well, I tried. Look, I'm not exactly Gordon Ramsay, alright? Well, except for the swearing.
Tits! I want my chili! I got my muff pot. Get out! Oh, I forgot my spoon. Okay, this is going from bad to worse.
Without a spoon, I used the handle from my toothbrush.
This is going to be awful. And no, I don't know how I'm going to eat it. Right. And now I got to suck the toothbrush clean. And then you put the lid on the muff pot, clip it on, and then you put the muff pot on the muff. And hopefully I have hot chili soon. Ooh, steaming. Yeah, that's warm. Right, I'm going to retire to my tent, enjoy my chili, and I don't know, hope that all of this snow melts by the morning. I wish I didn't have to eat this with the handle of my toothbrush. This is not a very efficient way to eat chili. It's an even worse way to try and illuminate myself. Lasts longer though. I'm going to eat this, and it's difficult to do with a camera, so I will see you in the morning. Bye.
Yeah, it's not exactly tropical weather here, so hermit mode was thoroughly engaged at night. But eventually, I just had to get up, try and put my boots on.
These are leather.
And make one of the weirdest noises I had in quite a while.
I need shoes.
In the end, the only way to get these hiking boots on was using a pair of pliers to loosen the frozen solid laces. And yes, I probably should have brought some snowmobile boots. Yes, I do own some snowmobile boots. Yes, I forgot to bring them. Look, yes. You just saw me eat a tin of chili with a toothbrush. So if you're going to point out things I'm cocking up, you're going to be here for a long time. Look, let's just get on with the video and watch my misery.
Luckily that sun's got a little bit of heat to it, which is good, because I need that, because this is miserable. And that is a very stuck mini Jeep. I don't know how I get out of here. Come on, baby. Get on my foot. And when you're on boot, I'll reward you. We're going to go for a walk and see what's up ahead, and if we should carry on. Oh, come on. Ow. Ow, that hurts. Oh, that's like painfully cold. Right, well, this is where I'm stuck. With enough time, I can get Willie out. And then either head back down or carry on. I made a monumental cock up and I left my water bottle outside, which means it is a -10 frozen piece of ice. I'm gonna go for a walk, warm myself up, get some heat in my toes, keep my water in my jacket, which I can melt it with my body heat from the walk. Let's go see what's gonna happen today.
Okay, so I made it to the top of the hill. I sunk up to my knees a lot walking up here. There's the thin layer of ice on top, like a creme brulee, and then below that is, I don't know how much snow, because I can't find the bottom. And ahead, there is another peak, which is the same height as this, and I've got to drop down into that valley, which means I could get stuck in the valley if I can't get out. So annoyingly, I'm going to turn round and head back down and then go round this mountain range and then try and attack the next one and see if it doesn't have this weird creme brulee thing going on, because yeah, I could get stuck here for quite a while. And And I think I just have to leave the mini Jeep here until spring. So, right, I'm gonna walk back down, try and get Willie out of the snow. He's sunk in basically past his wheels. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna keep trying.
Oh dear, oh, I'm sinking in up to my knees. Oh dear, Willie, this isn't good. The only plan I've really got is to super deflate the tyres, completely unload everything, and then see if I can get him out. Some of you might have noticed that I had a sled that I can put everything on it and I can pull it. If I was in the middle of nowhere and it was a 2-day hike to get out, I could also carry all of my food on the sled and drag that back to civilization.
Well, I'd rather not have to hike out of here with my sled, so I tried digging him out. But Willie was so stuck that I had to resort to using the winch on the biggest tree I could find. Which went well. But when life gives you lemons, at least you can jam the lemon tree branches under the wheels to try and make a ramp. And I'm not going to bore you with hours of footage of me trampling down snow and moving a mini Jeep backwards and forwards 6 inches at a time, so you're just going to have to trust me that it took ages. But eventually we got out of the snow hole, which I was very happy about.
Yes! Oh. 2 fucking hours!
How am I going to celebrate? I'm going to have a wank. Finally out of the snow hole, ready to head back down. Not going to risk sitting in it for the moment, so it's more radio control Willie.
But no sooner had I dug Willie out of the snow, when turning around to go back downhill, he punched through the layer of ice on top of the snow again.
Uh-oh. Knew I should have turned it around before loading up. You're a moron. Right, it's still stuck, so I've buried a bit of that dead tree in a snow hole, and I'm going to use the winch. It's not going to be able to put a lot of pressure on it, but if I stand on it, it might give it enough to just help it, because it is biting. Wish me luck.
Well, the winching on the buried branch did kind of work, and it was just enough to start moving a tiny amount forwards, which then allowed me to start another 3 hours of digging and squashing down snow and shuffling forwards and backwards. But no one was coming to save me, so I just carried on until eventually I got free.
Right, well, that camera ran out of battery, and this is a GoPro, so of course it turned itself off. But I'm out, and I would have more enthusiasm for this, but I'm absolutely knackered. So I'm going to load up, head downhill. That's that. What a mess. Jesus. Right, Willie, let's go. Walkies!
We started our very gentle descent back the way we'd come yesterday, until eventually the snow was solid enough for me to ride in the mini Jeep. In radio control mode. This is a sensible idea.
Whoa, fuck me, that's my harness today.
And in case you're wondering, yes, it is rather disconcerting driving down the road not holding the steering wheel and having it turn in front of you. And a large part of that concern was not having the steering wheel to hold onto to stop me from bouncing out of the vehicle and have it carry on without me. And having your vehicle drive down the trail without you in it would be terrifying for someone that's not a complete idiot.
Bad idea, 842. If I meet anybody on this trail. Uh-oh, downhill. Panic.
And it just worked. There's nothing else to tell you, really. I have no idea what use this invention is to mankind, other than to just be an idiot and risk injury. But it's good fun. But yeah, I just did the rest of the trail until I got back to the mud. I drove for quite a few miles like this. But as I dropped elevation and the snow was about to end, there was one last tripod shot for you, and a heartfelt thank you to Team Seems Reasonable and my engineering teachers at college for enabling this stupidity. Thank you. Now, this has all been fun and games, and that last sledding part was definitely fun. But it's time to get serious. You see, as I left the snow and got back on the mud, it was time to face the music about whether my planned journey was actually possible. I'd just failed to get through the snow at 7,000 feet, and I'd set myself the goal of doing 100 miles of mountain range at 11,000 feet. Impossible? Probably. And the danger to life snowstorm that was going to hit me tomorrow? Deadly? Maybe. But I don't give up on something until I've given it every ounce of my being and I'm forced to quit. So I drove some back roads around this small mountain range and went to the start of the 100-mile trail and began my mission anyway. Initially it was easy mud, but once the mud turned to snow, it was time to give it my all and see if I could do it. Wish me luck.
Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should.
Bollocks! I'm never making it up this mountain. Can I help? You're Ed March. You're the guy with the YouTube channel. You make all the crazy mini Jeep modifications and you've got the enormous penis. Yeah, that's me. I built a modification for this mini Jeep. It's at the base of the mountain. Go down there, we'll fit it, and you can conquer this mountain range. How does that sound?
Well, there we are. Willie now has tank tracks. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of this new series. There's about 4 episodes or so, I think. But yeah, hopefully you liked that one. And I'm really sorry about how long it took to get this video out, but hopefully you can see that me, just as a solo outfit, having to build that and then adventure on it, film it and edit it and get it out was quite the endeavour. I'd still do these trips even if cameras hadn't been invented, but luckily cameras and editing software have, so I can make these videos for you guys. And also, now that Top Gear and the Grand Tour have both finished, I'm going to do my best to fill just a tiny little bit of the gap that they've left behind. So yes, that's my plan. If you want to help support me and make more of these videos happen, then you can join my awesome Patreon supporters, or you can buy awesome merchandise like these t-shirts, and you can also buy the USB stick in the shape of Willie the Mini Jeep that I custom print myself, and this contains high bitrate ad-free versions of the first 6 episodes of the first season, and you can even clip on pontoons to fully replicate the stupidity. And yes. Oh, and also you could send me PayPal donations to my email address at ed.march@c90adventures.co.uk. I don't have a big production company behind me. Every little helps. So thank you. And thank you to Irving Force as well that let me use that absolute banger of a song at the end of this video. He's awesome. And the link to all of his websites and stuff are in the description. You can go and buy his songs. And yeah, he's awesome as well. Oh, and if you'd like to meet me in person, I'm going to be at Open Source 2024 in San Francisco from June 14th to 16th. When I was there last year, I met Michael Reeves and Eric from Internet Common Etiquette, and I had an awesome time. It's this like YouTuber, creator, inventor sort of awesome like event type thing. And yeah, there's also loads of crazy inventions there, so it's right up my alley. And yes, so I'm going to be there, and if you want to come and say hi, then that's awesome. I'm there as a featured creator, along with 100 other YouTubers that are way more famous than me. And yes, Colin Furze will be there. No, Colin Furze has absolutely no idea who I am. So moving on. And yeah, if you want to come to Open Source and meet me, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, thank you for watching. And yeah, if you'd like to help me make more videos, then all the links are in the description, and that'd be awesome. So maybe I'll see you at Open Source. Otherwise, cheers, guys.